Okay, thank you once again for joining us this afternoon. We will be starting off with our second day of the online FTP on data analysis using spreadsheet. Before we start this afternoon session, a few guidelines to all the participants. A few guidelines to all the participants. We request you to please ensure that the names with which you have logged in, signed in on to your Zoom accounts, please retain the same name that you had provided at the time of registering for the FTP. Please avoid using generic names like your mobile numbers, name of your phone. This will be a little difficult for us to identify who you are. Also, just in case during the course of the session, if you have any questions, you can redirect them in the chat to Mr. Bijan Philip, who's the co-host to this meeting. So any queries or any doubts during the course of the session, we request you to redirect them to Mr. Bijan Philip. Thank you. For today's session, we had uh, sent you the data sets in the email. I hope all of you have downloaded and kept them onto your systems. And this afternoon, we will be starting off together. We'll do a quick recap of what we learned yesterday. Yesterday, we understood what was meant by spreadsheet. We saw that spreadsheet is a software which helps in capturing data in a tabular form. We also saw that Excel organizes data in the form of rows and columns. The columns are named alphabetically, rows are named numerically. We also spoke about how Excel goes about structuring data. We saw that Excel stores data into cells. Many cells will combine together to form sheets, and different sheets put together will make up a workbook. And the moment you save a workbook, that gets saved as a file. So this was a structure that we had come across yesterday. And we also saw that whenever Excel captures information, whenever Excel captures data into a cell, the data which is captured has got two parts. It has a value and then it has a format. So the value represents the numerical aspect, and the format represents the attribute which describes the value. Yesterday's session, we also learned how we can go about separating value and format from each other by using the functionality of paste special. We also learned how to transpose data, how to convert rows to columns, columns to rows. Then we also spoke about formatting. We spoke about some important types of formatting in that we would come across in Excel. We also spoke about the autofill option, and we also spoke about flash fill option. As much as possible, many of you had dropped me emails with your queries. I've answered to most of them. There was one common feedback that I wanted to leave depending on the questions that I received. Some of you were asking why was not flash fill working on your systems. I just want to inform you that flash fill works only with the latest version of Office, which is 2016 and above. So if you fail to see this functionality working in your system, please do not panic. It's just that it's the version that you're using does not support that functionality. Another query that I had also got was how do we go about upgrading? Now, upgrading from a lower version to higher version, it is chargeable. So I request you to maybe rethink your decision to go right away and then upgrade your version of Office. Okay, so with that note, we will start off with the session for today. Today's session, we will be having a long journey together. I hope to complete the topics that I had planned for today within the stipulated time. Today's FTP session, we are going to start off with the concept of formulas. For today's FTP session, we will be focusing on the concept of formulas, and also as a part of formulas, we would be together. We will be learning how exactly we can go about using some of these formulas, and also we will also have a number of practice sessions to make sure that we all are comfortable using formulas. Now, in Excel, what does a formula refer to? So a formula is a functionality which is inbuilt into Excel, so that it goes about carrying a desired task that we would like Excel to perform. Okay. So formulas, these are pre-designed functionalities. These are functionalities which are embedded into Excel, such that we could make our work a lot easier. So here's an example. If you were to add up 10 numbers together, then you will have to do first number plus second number plus third number. It goes on like that. So, but that will consume a lot of time. That is also it's a pain for us to sit and type in all the cell references. So instead of that, we have a formula called as sum. And the moment we use the functionality of sum, or we use the formula sum, we need not undergo the trouble of sitting and typing it all together. So formulas are certain predefined functions, so that it could make our work a lot easier. Okay, so that is the whole idea behind uh, formulas in Excel. Now, the formulas into Excel, it is categorized into different under different headers. So some of the categories I've mentioned here: financial, date, statistical, look and reference, text, logical. If you look at the list of formulas which are embedded into Excel, the list is really huge, and it is practically impossible for us to cover all the formulas as a part of the FTP. So we will be picking up maybe some of the most important formulas, and together we will try and learn them. Okay, so the takeaway from this slide that I would like to leave you with is that formulas are certain predefined functionalities which are embedded into Excel, so that we can go about executing the task that we desire. The first functionality that we are going to learn is the formula called as sum. Okay. So as the name suggests, this helps us in adding values together. Okay. The formula sum, it helps us in adding formulas together. Now, one very important thing that you have to remember, that you have to keep in mind when we are learning formulas, is every formula in Excel has has something called as a syntax which is associated with it. Every formula in Excel has a syntax which is associated with it. Now, what is meant by syntax? Syntax refers to the command that you have to use to execute the formula. In Excel, syntax refers to the command that you have to use in order to execute the formula. By default, in Excel, all the formulas start with a equal to sign. Okay? In Excel, by default, all the formulas start with a equal to symbol. So the moment you type in equal to symbol in a cell, it is giving an indication to Excel that you are looking forward in executing a formula. There is an operation that you're looking forward in carrying out. So the moment you use the operator equal to, Excel has understood that you are looking forward in using uh, a formula. Now, the formula of sum, it can be used in many ways. Okay. Now, yesterday's session, we had discussed the concept of range. I told you about irregular range, and then I told about symmetrical range. I'd mentioned about irregular range, and then I had also spoken about symmetrical range. So irregular range is you're not looking forward and picking up the cells in a series. You're looking forward and picking up the cells randomly. So that is referred to as a irregular range. When you're looking forward in picking up the cells in a range, in a series, it is referred to as a symmetrical range. So the usage of some formula, it will depend on the kind of data that you have. So are you having a symmetrical, having a symmetrical range, or is that an irregular range? Okay. Now, for now, we will have a demo of the sum formula. So I request all of you to now quickly turn over to your data sets that have been provided, and we will we will look into that. Okay, let me quickly bring up the Excel sheet here for you. And in the Excel, I want all of you to turn to the first sheet, which is by the name sum. Okay. I want all of you to turn over to the first sheet, which is by the name sum. Okay. So here in this sheet, I have put in I have actually grouped them so that we could learn this together. I have put in an irregular range, I have put in a symmetrical range, and then I have put in symmetrical range in multiple series. Okay. So I have put in irregular range for you, symmetrical range, and then I have put in symmetrical range for multiple series. So we will try and see how exactly will we go about using the formula for all these scenarios. So let's look at the first set. Here we are having the set of numbers that I've given in the orange box. Now, if you notice over here, my numbers all are randomly spread across the chart. Okay, here in this table, my numbers are randomly spread across this box. So my first value is in cell B2, my second value is in C4, my third is in D3, next is in E6, and goes on. Okay? So here my numbers are randomly scattered, and this is what we call as a irregular this is what we will call as an irregular range. Okay, this is what we will call as an irregular range. Now, if we were not using the if we were not using the formula functionality, then we will have to tell Excel that Excel will have to pick up the values from each of these cells individually, sum it up, and give us the answer. Okay, but we can avoid that, and instead what we can do is that we will try and use the functionality of Excel, functionality of sum, and then we will see. So what my desire right now is, I want the sum to be displayed in C7. Okay, what I'm desiring right now is I want Excel to give me the result of the formula that I'm trying to apply in the cell C7. So like I reminded before, every formula will have a syntax, and by default in Excel, the syntax will always start with equal to. Okay, by default in Excel, the syntax will always start with equal to. So I'll just maximize my screen a little bit more to make it visible. So I'm going to start off with equal to. Now, the moment I start off with equal to, what you have to remember is that Excel has understood the fact that I'm looking forward in calling a formula. Okay. Now, please remember this part of the Excel screen is referred to as a formula bar. Okay, this part of the screen is referred to as a formula bar. Now, so the moment I type in equal to, you would notice that the values are correspondingly getting filled in the formula bar. Now, the syntax for summation is, or to carry out addition is sum. So I'm going to type is equal to sum, is equal to sum. So the moment I call in sum, Excel has understood that I want to carry out, or I want to utilize the summation functionality. Okay, Excel has understood that I want to carry out, or I want to use the summation functionality. Also, whenever you have to use any formulas, the values which have to be for the values for which the functionality has to be carried out, it has to be defined using brackets. Okay, it has to be defined using brackets. So I will start from the beginning once again. To carry out the formula for summation, we will have to use the operator is equal to. The moment we use the operator is equal to, Excel has understood that I want to carry out, I want to call a formula. Now I have to type in the name of the formula that I want to use. The formula that I want to use is sum. Then I would open bracket. Okay, then I would open bracket. Now I have to define the numbers one by one, which are the numbers that for which I want to carry out summation. So the first value that I want here is the value from B2. So I'm going to click on B2, then comma, then next is C4, comma, D3, and finally again comma, and then finally E6. Okay, so I have mentioned the values that I desire, that I want Excel to carry out the summation. So I've mentioned that as is equal to sum, open bracket, B2, comma, C4, comma, D3, comma, E6. Now I have to close the bracket and then press enter. Okay, so uh, I have defined my formulas, and I have mentioned the values that I want for which summation has to be carried out. Excel has done the summation for me, and then Excel has totaled up. The total is 21. Okay, so the total of these four values is 21. So I'll repeat this once again for the benefit of those of you who are there online. So the syntax is equal to SUM. SUM is the formula for summation, open bracket, select the values one by one. So here in this case, I want B2, comma, C4, comma, D3, comma, E6, and then close the bracket and then press enter. It has given me the output that I desire. Okay, it has given me the output that I desire. Now, at this point of time, there's one more thing that you can do, just in case if you want to edit the formula. Okay, just in case if you want to edit the formula, then you can scroll back to the cell where the formula is entered, and then press F2, function key 2 on your keyboard. Okay, function F2, the function 2 key on your keyboard, and it gives me an option to edit the formulas again. Now here, let's say in this scenario, I don't want Excel I don't want Excel to consider the value in C4. I want to remove that. So in that case, I can just delete this off and then press enter again. Now Excel is considering only the values of uh, uh, of um, of these three cells. Okay, of these three cells. And in the meanwhile, just for the benefit of those of you who have joined us online but you have not connected using the audio device, we request you to press connect audio option that you see on the left bottom screen corner of your devices. Unless and until you click on that, you may not be able to participate in the online meeting full-fledged. So I just got an update from the admin stating that some of you are yet to connect using the audio. So we request you to connect using the audio. You have to click on the left bottom corner of your screen. You would see an option there which says audio, and when you click on it, it says audio device, and then please click on it, and then you will be able to connect. Okay. So now we just saw that Excel has calculated it has summed up the values for us based on these three. Now I want to edit this further. Let's say I want Excel to consider for summation only B2 and D3. Okay. So in such cases, I'll scroll back, press F2, and then remove E6. Okay. Remove E6. close the bracket again. Now Excel has just considered 2 cells and then it has given me the total. Now there's also one more inbuilt functionality in Excel. What you can do is select the cells one by one using Control and left button on your screen or of your mouse. Okay, so you can press Control and left button of your mouse, and I've selected these cells. Now I want you to notice what is happening at this part of my screen. Okay, that is at the right bottom corner of your Excel screen. You would notice that Excel is giving me some values. So now Excel has identified that I've selected 4 cells. That is what is meant by count. Okay, that is what is meant by count. I've selected 4 cells. The sum of the values in these 4 cells is 21. Okay, the sum of the values of these 4 cells is 21, and the average of these 4 values is 5.21. So basically what Excel has done is 21 divided by 4, and it's telling me that the average is 5.25. Okay, so maybe for simple number series, you may not have to go all the way and apply or use some formula. You can use this option also. Okay, you can use this option. So we just learned right now how to use summation functionality in the case of an irregular range. Now let's quickly come over here to the next box, the one in purple color. Here what is happening is it is a symmetrical range. So what is the symmetrical range? Now the entire numbers is arranged in a series. The number now here, it is all in the in the column H. Okay, all my numbers here are mentioned in H. So if I want to sum this up, there is one way that I can so I want to sum up the values. I want to sum up the answer for these 5 numbers. So what I'm going to use is I desire the answer to be displayed in H7. So I'm going to use is equal to. So I told you in Excel formula, whenever we use formula, it will always, the syntax will always have to, we will have to call using is equal to, and then we are going to type in the formula is equal to sum, open bracket. Now since this is a symmetrical range, I need not select all the cells one by one. Okay, I need not select all the cells one by one. Now what I can do is using my left button of my mouse and control key, I'm going to select the series like this. Okay, so how did I do this? What I've done is I've pressed on the control key of my keyboard, and then I've used the left button of my mouse and I've dragged the series like this. Okay, so now what Excel has done is Excel has understood I'm looking forward in summing up the answers for a symmetrical range. So it has defined the range for me. Now the range, my symmetrical range is H2 to H6. So it has filled in the values by default for me. Okay, it has filled in the value corresponding to my range by default for me, H2 to H6, and let us close the bracket and then let's press enter. Okay, so the sum total of these 5 numbers is 201. Okay, so I'll repeat that once again. I'll repeat this functionality once again, is equal to sum, open bracket. In this case, since it is a symmetrical range, I'm going to press Control key on my keyboard, and using my left button of my mouse, I'm going to select it like this, and then I'm going to close the bracket and press enter. It has given me the answer as 201. Okay. Also, I told you about the inbuilt functionality in Excel where Excel will give me the total. We'll just cross-check this answer with that as well. So I'm going to select the series like this, and I'm going to go look down. Notice here Excel has understood my count is 5. I've selected 5 cells. The total is 201 and the average of this is 401. So the answer given to me for summation functionality based on the formula is 201, which is correct. Okay, so this is correct. Now let us move on to the next box. The next box here, which is mentioned within the green box, I am having a symmetrical range, but it is multiple series. Okay, now it is a symmetrical range, and it is a multiple series. Now what is happening over here is I have one set of numbers which are mentioned in the K column, and I have another set of numbers which are mentioned in the M column. Okay, so I have multiple series. My one set of series is in a K column, and the next set of series is in M column, but they both are symmetrical in nature. So I want the sum for these two series. Also, if you notice, my series are of different lengths. Here I have 5 values, and then here I have 3 values. Okay, so here I have 5 values, and here I have 3 values. So in this case, how will I use my summation formula? What I will do is equal to sum open bracket. Okay, and using the control and left button of my mouse, I will select my first series. So my first series is K K K2 to K6. Okay, so I've defined the series. Now I have to put a comma. Okay, now I have to put a comma. Again, using control key and left button of my mouse, I will select my next series, which is my M series. Okay, so I have selected the first series. The first series is K2 to K6, comma, M3 to M5. I've selected both the series. I'm going to close the bracket, and I'm going to press enter. The total of these two is 222. Okay, the total of these two series is 222. So I'll repeat that once again. In this situation, I have to apply the formula. I have to apply the formula sum. So I will use is equal to SUM open bracket. Okay, using the control and the left button key of my mouse, I will select my first series, comma, then I will select my second series, and then I will close the bracket. So I've got the answer as 222. Now let's cross check this answer. So I'm going to use the inbuilt functionality in Excel, and I'm going to select these two series using my mouse and the control key. And now what has happened is Excel is telling me that I've selected 8 cells, yes, which is correct, and it is telling me the total of these 8 cells is 222, and also the average is 27.75. Okay, so in a nutshell, now we have learned the usage of sum, and we've learned how do we go about using sum in the case of irregular range, symmetrical range, and symmetrical range with multiple series. Okay, so we've learned for irregular range, symmetrical range, and then symmetrical range for multiple series. Okay, so please remember the syntax is equal to sum open bracket, then you have to define your range. Okay, you have to define your range. Okay, so just got a feedback from some of the participants that you would like me to maximize the Excel screen. I will surely do that for the remaining part of the session. But just in case if some of you had a hard time following, I'll just quickly repeat the sum formula once again. I shall do that in this case where we have a symmetrical series, and then we want to see. So in this case, how do we do is we would use is equal to. So is equal to by default is what we have to apply whenever we want to call any formula in Excel. Sum is the syntax for summation, open bracket. Okay, now we have to define the series. So in this case, I have 2 symmetrical series, but it is multiple in nature. So I will select the first series. My first series is K2 to K6, comma, then M M3 to M5 and then close the bracket, and then I press enter. It has given me the answer for these 8 numbers. Okay, so with that, we will move on to the next functionality. The next functionality that we are going to learn is sum if. But before that, let's just quickly look at the theory. So we've done this, and let's quickly look at the next formula that we are going to learn together is the formula called as sum if. Sum if is a function or is the formula that you have to use when you want Excel to total up the values that fulfill the criteria that is specified. Okay? So in this case, you are defining a criteria and you want Excel to total up the values of based on the criteria that you have defined. Now, the syntax for this I have mentioned here in the PPT at the end of today's session. Like yesterday, I shall be sharing out the handouts with all of you so that you can refer through. So the syntax, just in case if you want to learn this at a later stage, you can refer to my presentation as well. So now let's go back to the Excel and let us look at the demonstration together. So for this demonstration, I want all of you to go back to the Excel, and I want you now to scroll over to the second sheet, the sheet that says sum if. Okay. So let's go on to the next one, and I will increase the size for the benefit of the participants so that it is visible to all of you. Now here I have a set of random numbers which are in a symmetrical series, and it is ranging from B1 to B14. These are random numbers. Okay, these are random numbers. Now I want Excel to carry out certain functionalities for me. Okay, I want Excel to carry out the summation in this series, but I don't want Excel to total up all the numbers together. I want Excel to go about carrying, or I want Excel to sum up the numbers based on the criteria that I'm specifying. Okay? So I want Excel to carry out the summation based on the criterias that I'm specifying. So here I have given some criterias. This is just for us to go through the session together and to be at ease. But once I'm done with this, you're free to experiment. You're free to generate your own series, and you're free to define your own criteria and then try for yourself. Now the first demonstration that we will have together is from this series. I want Excel to sum up the values which are less than 6. Okay, I want Excel to sum up the values which are less than 6. So I don't want Excel to do a sum. I want Excel to do a sum based on a condition that I'm specifying. So here the condition that I've specified is that I want Excel to sum up the values which are less than 6. I want Excel to sum up the values which are less than 6. So for this, I have to call the formula sum if. Okay, so I have to call the formula sum if. So let's go about with this demo together. I'm looking forward in bringing out the result in cell F4, and for any formula the syntax will always start with is equal to. The formula is SUMIF. Okay, sum if. Okay, so sum if, open bracket. Okay, now open bracket. Now the syntax, the way how I define the parameters from sum if is slightly different from the sum formula. Okay, so here how I define for sum if is slightly different from how I would define for the sum formula. So at first I have to define the range, where should Excel look into for the values. So I'm telling Excel, you have to look into a series starting from B1 to B14. Okay, so it is a symmetrical range. Since it's a symmetrical range, what I can do is I can select from using control and left button of my uh, control key on my keyboard and left button of my mouse. I will select the series together. Okay, I'll select the range. Okay, so I've selected the range, comma. Now I want Excel to define, or now I want Excel, and I have to tell Excel what is the criteria. Now in this case, my criteria is that it should be. So I'll start from the beginning once again. Is equal to sum if. Now the moment I use is equal to, I'm letting Excel know that I want to call in the functionality of formulas. Sum if, which is the command that I have to type if I want to use sum if, open bracket. At first I have to let Excel know my range. Okay, so where should Excel look in for the values? So Excel should look in for the values. Okay. Now I have to use comma, okay, comma, and I want Excel to come out with numbers less than 6. Okay, I want Excel to come up with the values less than 6. So here, just give me a minute. Just give me a minute. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, now I'll start all over from the beginning once again. So here the syntax is equal to sum if, open bracket, okay, and I have to define the range. Range is B1 to B14, comma. Now, since I'm giving Excel a logical functionality, since I'm letting Excel know it's a logical functionality that I want Excel to carry out, I have to define the criteria with open quotes. Okay? I have to define the criteria within open quotes. So within open quotes, less than 6, less than 6, close quotes, close bracket. And what Excel has right now done is Excel has looked into this series, okay, which is ranging from B1 to B14. It has identified which are the numbers that are less than 6. So when Excel looked into the series, Excel found that there are only two numbers, which is 5 and 4, and Excel has added up these two numbers together, and it has given me the answer here as 9. So I'll repeat this once again from the beginning. So the functionality, we are learning a functionality which is called as sum if. Sum if is what we will use when we want Excel to carry out summation only for, or only in scenarios, or only based on a specific criteria that we have defined, and we will have to enter this by using is equal to, the command is sum if, open bracket, define the range. So in this case, my range is B1 to B4, comma. Now I'm letting Excel know that it is a logical functionality. So logical functionality, I'm telling Excel it has to look out for numbers less than 6. So this, since it's a logical criteria that I'm specifying, all logical criteria always have to be defined within open quotes. Okay, it has to be always defined within open quotes. So open quotes, less than 6, sorry, less than 6, close quotes, close bracket. Okay, and then press enter. Excel has looked into the series. It has identified there are two numbers which are less than 6, which is 5 and 4, and it has added up these two numbers together, which is 9. Okay, which is 9. Now let's go on to the next example. So in the next example, I want Excel to sum up numbers which are greater than 110. Okay. Uh, so in this series, I want Excel to sum up all the numbers which are greater or which are more than 110. So how do I go about with this? This I will have to use the functionality of sum if. So in this case, I will use is equal to sum if open bracket define my range. My range is B1 to B14. Okay, it is B1 to B14. Now I have to specify the criteria. So, comma, open quotes. I want numbers which are greater than 110, close quotes, close bracket, and press enter. And there you go. Now what Excel has done is Excel has looked through this series. It has identified the numbers which are greater than 110 and it has added them up together. Now let's look at the numbers one by one. 120, definitely more than 110, 140. Then I have 165, I have 265, and then I have 148. The total of these three numbers that I see over here is 838, which is exactly what my formula has also computed for me. Okay, so I've just applied sum of functionality to determine to sum up the numbers which are greater than 110. Now we will the last example, probably we will all try working this out together. So or maybe what I'll do is I will pause here maybe for a minute, and then you could try this on your own just to see if you're getting the desired result, and then after a minute I shall work this out for you, so just to make sure that we are learning simultaneously as and when we are progressing through the session. So we are learning simultaneously as and when we are progressing through the session. Okay, so I hope by now all of you would have given it a try. Now we will work this out together. So how we would work this, how we would apply the formula is equal to sum if, which is the syntax, open bracket. Let's define the range. The range is B1 to B14, close the bracket. Comma. Now in this case, my condition is I want Excel to look out for numbers which are equal to 50. Okay, so I will enter the criteria within inverted quotes is equal to 50, close the bracket, and then press enter, and it has given me the answer as 100. So now let's look at the series. Excel has looked through the series. Excel has found that Excel has looked out for numbers which are equal to 50. So there is 150 in B1 and there is another 50 in B6, and there are no other 50s. So the total of these two cells together um, is 100. Okay, it is 100. So I hope all of you have got an understanding about sum if. Sum if is the functionality that we will be using when we want to carry out summation. And in the case of we are defining the criteria and we want Excel to carry out the summation only based on the condition that we have specified. Now, what I have just demonstrated for you is sum if in a very simple form. Okay, what I just demonstrated for you is SUMIF in a very simple form. Now we will go on to the next sheet, which is SUMIF the second part, we will move on to the next sheet, which is SUMIF, by the sheet name SUMIF number 2. Here we will be working out a little bit more complex functionalities using the SUMIF formula, and let me maximize my screen here for you. Now what I have here on the screen is I have a set of I have some category, then I have the items corresponding to the category, then I have the sales amount. Okay, so I have the sales amount. Okay, so first is the category where I have categorize it as vegetable, fruits, grocery. Then here I have the items where I've mentioned onion, apple, orange, potato, chili, etc. And then here I again have my sales amount corresponding to. And also if you notice, some of the categories in the items are repeating. So here vegetable, potato, potato, it is repeated. Last entry again it is repeated. Okay. Now here I'm having some complex requirements. Now let's look at my requirements one by one. So I have picked up these requirements randomly just to make sure that that you understand the concept. Okay, so I've just picked up these scenarios for you to understand the concept. Now, in the first scenario is I want the sales of the category fruit. Okay? So I want the total sales amount for the category of fruit. Okay, so I want the sum of the total sales amount for the category of fruit. So in this case, what I'm going to do now is I want Excel to look out in this column, which is B column. Excel should identify the category fruit. Then Excel should find out what is the corresponding sale amount and then give me and total up only the sale amounts for fruits and then display the total here. Okay, so what I'm desiring is Excel should look through my category. It has to identify what I have categorized as fruits. Excel has to identify the corresponding sales amount for fruits, sum them up together, and then give me the value here. Now, since this is a very small table, the easiest way that I could do is I could select the values individually like this, and then I could find out what it is. Okay. So since this table is very small, I have manually picked up the values, and here I'm just trying to click on the sales amounts corresponding to fruit. I'm just trying to find out the total is 18,000. Okay, so since my table in this case is very small, I have an option to do it manually. But if it's a very complex table which has got a lot of values, in that case, probably trying to execute this task manually may not seem all that feasible. It may not be so easy for me. So here what I'm going to do is I'm going to use SUMIF, but in this scenario the application of SUMIF is slightly different from what I had taught you in the previous sheet. Okay, so I want all of you to be in sync with me. Let us move together. Here the application of SUMIF is slightly different from what I had done in the previous case. So here I'm going to use is equal to sum if open bracket. Okay, so sum is equal to, the command line remains the same, sum if open bracket. Okay, now I want Excel to identify fruits. So I have to let Excel know which is the range that Excel has to look in to identify fruits. So that is in the range of B3 to B12. Okay, that is in the range of B3 to B12. Okay, so B3 to B12, comma. Now, what is my criteria? My criteria is I want Excel to find out fruits. So this is a logical criteria. Since it's a logical criteria, I will have to define that within inverted quotes. Okay, I will have to define that within inverted quotes. Okay, now, unlike the previous sheet, Excel will have to total up the values in a different column. Okay, so in the previous example, we were defining the criteria, and we want Excel to run the summation in the same series. But here, what I'm desiring is Excel has to look through the series B3 to B12, identify the fruits, but it has to not total this; it has to total this part. So now I have to let Excel know which is my summation range. Okay, which is my summation range. So for that, I'm going to put a comma again and define my second range. Okay, I'm going to define my second range, and I'm going to close the bracket, and I'm going to press enter. Okay, so I shall repeat this once again. Here, my scenario has changed. My requirement has changed. In this case, what I'm desiring is that I want Excel to look through the category, the first column, which is B column. It has to identify the category fruits. Then it has to look into the corresponding sale amount, total up these, and then give me the total. Okay, so my requirement here has completely changed, unlike the previous example of SUMIF. So in this case, what I'm going to, the way I'm going to apply SUMIF is slightly different from how I had applied SUMIF in the previous case. So here it is going to be is equal to SUMIF open bracket. Now I'm going to define the range where Excel has to look in for fruits, comma, specify my criteria. My criteria is fruits. Okay, my criteria is fruits. Close the close quotes again, comma. Now I'm letting Excel know my summation range. Okay, now I'm letting Excel know my summation range. So Excel has to look in for sales amount in D3 to D12. Okay, D3 to D12. Now, what you have to remember is whenever you use SUMIF in these kind of scenarios, these two series that you define, that is that is your range and then your sum range. These two have to be identical, else Excel will not run this command properly. Okay, so this range and this range both have to be identical in nature. So let me close the bracket and press enter, and it has found the total to be 18,000. So let me see if it's correct. So the first fruit that I have is here. The first value of sale that I have is here. Second that I have is here, then here, and then finally here. And if you notice here, the total is 18,000. Okay, so the total is 18,000. Okay, so we've just learned how to use SUMIF functionality, and here the requirement was slightly complex, and we've just done that with a lot of ease. Now let's look at the second example. Second example, I want Excel to identify the sales amount, the total. Give me the total sales amount for potato. Okay, now so in this case, Excel will have to look in to identify the item. Item I have mentioned in column C. Then it has to sum up the corresponding in sales and then give me the desired output here. So here I'm going to use it as is equal to sum if open bracket. Now my range is here. This is where Excel will have to look into to identify if it's potato or not. Then my logical criteria here, since it's potato, I have to define that within open quotes. So potato, close quotes, okay, comma, okay. And now, where exactly does Excel have to look into to sum up the sales? So that is here, which is D4 to D12, and then close, and then let me press enter and see it has given me the answer as 99,300. So let's just cross check and see if this answer is correct. The first entry for potato I have is here, which is 6,800, and then next is 2,500. Together it's 9,300. I've got the answer here, which is correct, which is exactly the same answer that I've got when I apply the formula. So which means my formula is working beautifully. Okay. Now the last condition that I've defined here, it is a slightly more complex. Okay. Now I want Excel to look into all the items that are ending with E. Okay, so I want Excel to look into all the items which are ending with E. So ending with E, the items that I have here, let me look through randomly. I have apple, I have orange, and then I have rice. Now what I'm desiring is Excel has to identify these items. Okay, so I have apple, I have orange here, then I have again another entry of apple over here. So Excel has to identify these items, and then Excel will have to give me the total corresponding to this. Okay, so it is a little bit more complex than what I've done in the previous case, but not a problem. Luckily, our job is easy with the use of formulas. So how do we apply formula? In this case, it will be is equal to sum if open bracket. Now my range is C3 to C12, comma, since it's a logical criteria, I have to mention with open quotes. But here, my requirement is it has to identify letters which are ending with E. So one way is I have to sit and type in all the three criteria individually. I have to type in orange, I have to type in apple, I have to type in rice. But Excel is all about making life easy. It is not about complicating our task. It is about making our task a lot more easy. So I'm not going to sit and type all that together. Instead, what I'm going to use is I'm going to use the asterisk symbol. Okay, asterisk symbol E. Okay, I'm going to type in the letter E since I'm looking for items ending with the letter E. Close the quote. Again, open comma. Now I have to define my summation range. So to find out the sales amount, Excel will have to look into this range, close, and then press enter. Okay, so now what Excel has done is Excel has totaled up the value sales amount for all the items which are ending with E. Now let me manually cross check and see if the answer that I've got here is correct. I have one entry for apple, orange, then I have rice, again I have apple. The answer that I've got here is 21,300, which is exactly what I've got using formula also. Okay. So which means Excel has just simplified my job. Excel has made my life a lot easy. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to give you a demonstration of this once again. Is equal to sum if open bracket, I'm defining my range. My range here is C3 to C12, comma, I'm going to define my criteria. Since it's a logical criteria, open quotes, star or asterisk symbol, E, again, close quotes, comma, my summation range, which is this to this, and then I'm going to close the bracket and I'm going to press. Okay. So we've just learned how to apply sum if scenario in a more complex scenario, in a more complex environment. And for the time being, I've mentioned two practice scenarios. So I'm just going to give you maybe a minute or two. I may not be able to work out both the examples, so I want you to at least try for the first. I want all of you to at least try for this sum of all items ending with O. I want all of you to try this right now, and I shall pause maybe for a minute or two, and then we shall come back together and we shall try and work this out together to see if we are getting the same answer. Okay, if you're getting the same answer. So all of you quickly just give this a shot just to see if you're getting the answer that is as expected. Okay, let's get back. I'm very happy that some of you have actually worked it out, and then you were individually pinging the answers. Uh, so I'll just quickly work out the last one together. So is equal to sum if open bracket, and I'm going to define the range. The range is to this, comma, and my requirement is I want numbers to end with O. So star, and I'm going to mention O, close bracket, close quotes, and I'm going to define the summation range, and I'm going to close, and the answer should be 12,900. So the answer should be 12,900. Okay. So I think most of you have got the answer correct, and I'm very happy that you managed to calculate together. Now we are moving on to the next. We are moving on to the next formula. The next formula that we are going to learn is average. Okay? The next formula that we are going to learn is average. Okay, so let's just quickly look at the. Um, there is one more functionality which is called as sum ifs, but unfortunately sum ifs I'm not going to. I meant to do it. Actually, I have the data sheet also, which is attached along with it, but I've pushed it towards the end when I realized that majority of you are using earlier versions of Excel. Unfortunately, this particular functionality works only in Excel 2019 and above. So I shall work this out maybe only in the end if time permits. Okay, so I'm going to skip this for now, but I have mentioned the syntax and the data sheet in the handouts. So just in case if any of you want to practice on your own, you can refer to this. But for the session part, I will not be working this out because I would be rather keen on working out where majority of you are benefited. So let's move on to the next formula. The next formula that we would be working out together is the average formula. So the next formula that we are going to learn together is the average formula. So the average, we would use average to calculate the arithmetic mean. Um, we would use the average formula to calculate the arithmetic mean. And arithmetic mean, in mathematically, you have to figure out the total sum, and then you have to divide it by the number of observations. Okay, so that is how we would do it mathematically. But luckily in Excel we have an inbuilt functionality, and by now, since most of us are comfortable with how to apply for irregular range, how to apply for symmetrical range, how to apply for a symmetrical multiple range, I would be going through this a little faster than what I did for summation. So let's go back to the Excel sheet, and in the Excel sheet, please scroll over to the next sheet, which with the title average. Please scroll over to the next sheet with the name average. And here again, I'm having three scenarios. First scenario, I'm having an irregular range. Second, I'm having a symmetrical range. Third, I'm having a symmetrical, but it's a multiple range. Okay, so in this case, how do I go about calculating the average? So the average would be calculated or would be computed as is equal to average. Okay, so is equal to is the operator that we use for calling formulas, and the syntax is average. Okay, you have to type average, open bracket. Now you have to define your values one by one. Now in this case, in the first scenario, since it's an irregular range, I have to select the values one by one. Okay, so I will select the first value, comma, second value, comma, third value, comma, the last value, comma, close bracket, press enter. Excel has given me the average. It has given me the average of all these 4 entries. Just in case if I want to change my formula at any point of time, I have to press F2. Okay, I have to press F2 on the keyboard, and then I will get the option to edit my formula. Let's say I want to consider only 3 numbers. Also, for you to identify the cells easily, Excel uses different color codes. Okay, Excel will use different coloring codes. So for B2, it has used blue, and then here it is highlighted in blue. So I'm able to correlate the cell values corresponding. It becomes easy for me to refer to. So second one, if you notice, it is highlighted red in color, and in my formula also it is highlighted in red. So it becomes easy for me to identify, becomes easy for me to correlate. This is the reason why sometimes when you type in formulas, Excel will be using color codes. Understand where your inputs are coming from. It helps you to pinpoint the corresponding coordinates. Okay, so I've changed this to through 3 values, and let me see. So my average has changed. Okay, so this is how you would be using the average formula in the case of a asymmetrical or irregular range. Now let's come to this scenario here. What is happening is it is a symmetrical range. Okay, it is a symmetrical range. So here how I would be using is equal to average, open bracket, define my range. Okay, so my range here is H2 to H6, close bracket, press enter. Okay, so that is my average. So that is the average for this. Now, the reason why I would suggest you to use the average functionality is instead of finding out the total sum, then dividing it by the number of observations, instead of wasting time in that manner, this will be a lot easy for us to carry out. This will be a lot easy for us to work out. Okay, so this is the average for these. Also, if I select this series and if I look down over here, along with the sum, the Excel is also giving me the average of these 5 numbers. Okay, so average of these 5 numbers is 102. So if it's a small series, you need not apply the formula. You can quickly find out what is the average by referring to this section of the Excel screen. Now here I'm having a scenario where I'm having symmetrical range, but it is multiple series. Okay, I'm having a symmetrical range, but it's multiple series. So here how I would apply is equal to average, open bracket. Now I have 2 series, so I'm going to select my first series. First series is like this, comma. Then I'm going to select the second series. So second series is also done. I'm going to close the bracket, press enter. Okay, so I've done for the first. I've selected the first series and I've selected the second series, and I found out the average is 27.75. Okay. I went a little fast with average functionalities because this is very similar to what we had already discussed in sum, the sum formula. So I'm pretty sure by now all of you are comfortable how to handle irregular, symmetrical, as well as multiple series. So that was the reason why I went a little fast. Okay, now let's move on to the next function. The next set of formulas that we're going to learn, it is going to be a couple of formulas that we are going to learn together. So let's just quickly look. We're going to learn 4 formulas in a short. We are going to learn formula max. We're going to learn the formula min, which is used for identifying the smallest number in a series. We will also try and identify numbers at a desired position in the order of the size. Okay, so for this we will be using the functionality large, and then we will be learning the functionality small, and together we will have a demonstration of this. So at a stretch we are going to learn 4 formulas: max, min, small, and large. Max we will use when we want to identify a largest value, largest number in a series. Min formula is what we will use when you want to find out the smallest number in a series. Large and small we will be using to identify the largest or the smallest number at a certain position, maybe the second largest number, third largest number, second smallest number, third smallest number. So so this is when we will use large and small. So let's look at the demonstration for this together. Now let's go back to the Excel sheet. I want all of you to scroll over to the sheet that says MMSL. Okay, there's a sheet by the name MMSL, and I've got a set of numbers over here, which is quite huge. Let me just try and zoom this a little bigger for you so you can identify. Okay. Now I have a long series of numbers here, and I've got around 65 entries of numbers over here, and I want Excel to find out which is the largest number in the series. Okay, I want Excel to find out which is the largest number in this series. So I will use is equal to max, open bracket, define my range. Okay, so in this case, my range starts from A1 all the way to A65, close the bracket. Okay, so Excel has identified that the number to be 1 crore, which is in my entire series. It has identified 1 crore to be the largest number in my entire series. Okay. Now I want Excel to find out the least number. Okay, I want Excel to find out what is the smallest number. So for this, the formula will be is equal to minimum or MIN, open bracket, define my range. Okay, define my range, close bracket, and press enter. Excel has found out that 0 to be the smallest number. Let me see if there's a 0. Oh yes, 0 was here. Okay, 0 was here in my entire series, and this was the smallest number in my series. So I'll repeat that once again. To find out the largest number, the formula is equal to max, open bracket, select the range, close bracket. Sorry, I think I made a mistake. I selected yes. Okay, so open bracket, select the range, close bracket. It has found out the largest number. I want Excel to find out the least number. So for that, the formula is equal to MIN, open bracket, MIN for minimum, open bracket, select my range, close bracket, and then press enter. The least number is 0. Okay, so the least number is 0. Now, since most of us are academicians, I will tell you a practical application of this. Whenever we handle subjects and whenever we receive marks, as an academician, sometimes after delivering, maybe after teaching our students for a semester or a year, we are interested in finding out what was the highest mark, what was the lowest mark, and sometimes the student list may be too big for us to manually scroll through Excel. So you can use this functionality. This is how I would find out how my students have done in my subject. I will try and find out what was the highest mark in my subject, what was the least mark in my subject. So I would use this is just a practical application of this formula. Now, along with this, we are going to learn two other formulas, which we had discussed. That is small and large. Okay, which is small and large. Now, max and min, it will help us to find out the largest and the smallest number. Okay, it will help us to find out the smallest and the largest number. But if we want to identify a number at a certain position, then how do we go? So for example, I want to find out which is the second largest number in a series. So in such cases, I will have to, I cannot use max or min. I will have to use the formula small. Okay, so first let me give you, okay, we will start off with small. Okay. Open bracket, define the range, okay, define the range, comma. Now you have to specify what is the position. Okay. Now in this case, I want to find out um, uh, from uh, from the smallest, which is the number at the second position. Okay, which is the number at the second position. So I want to find out the second number from the smallest number. So I'm going to define this as 2, close bracket, and then press enter. So in this series, the number which is at the second position is number 2. Okay, the number which is at the second position is number 2. So I'll repeat that once again. So is equal to small, open bracket, define the range, and then you have to specify the condition. So here, let's say I want the fifth number from the smallest number, and then I say, okay, so it has come back as number 5. Okay. Now let's try and learn the function large. So large is just the opposite. We will try and find out the number at a certain position from the largest number. So let's say I want to find out the second largest number in the series. So I defined my range and I would specify 2. So since the series is small, I know that 14th is the largest number, but from 14, which number is at the second position? So I would use 2 and then close bracket. It has found out that number 13, value 13, is the second largest number in my series. Okay, so I'll repeat that once again. Syntax is equal to large, open bracket, define your range, define your array, comma, then you specify your position. Now here, for example, I want to find out the fifth largest number. Okay, I want to find out the fifth largest number, close the bracket, and then press enter. It is 10. So here it is 10. Okay, so what we have learned right now is we've learned how to apply minimum. We found how to find out the minimum, maximum, smallest numbers at a certain position, largest numbers at a certain position. I had got a query here stating that is there a way by which we can get numbers highlighted? To the ma'am who asked that question, yes, there is a method, but that functionality is called as conditional formatting. Okay, that functionality is called as conditional formatting. Conditional formatting, I look forward to cover on day 4, the last session when we're winding up. I look forward to cover that on day 4. Also, I think there were a number of requests which were going to the admins who were managing the online meeting. They were asking for the resources. Yes, the resources shall be shared. The data sets we have already sharing with all the participants through email. Today I shall share the handouts for today's session in the chat. Yesterday's it was already shared, but I think some of you requesting, some of you mentioned that you have not received. Not a problem. We shall send it to you once again. Not a problem. I think I don't have much time remaining, so what I'll do is I will maybe spend some time to take a few questions now. I may not be able to answer all the questions through the online meeting forum, but if you still have a question, if you still have a query which needs to be addressed, please feel free to write to me. I think I've to all the people who wrote to me yesterday, I have answered to the I had answered the question. There was a request from someone saying that can I explain the concept of minimum, maximum, and small again? Now, since I've already spent a good amount of time going through it, I may not be able to do a full-fledged session, but not a problem. We are in the process of uploading the recordings of these meetings in YouTube. Once the editing is done and once it has been uploaded, we shall share the links with you day-wise onto the group chat. So I may not be spending time right now, respecting everyone's time in the meeting. I may not be spending time to explain once again, but we shall. The resources will be made available to you. Any queries, you can drop a chat message to the co-host, Professor Bijan Philip. He will be answering. He will be taking up your questions, and also if there's anyone who wants who has a question which has to be answered on a priority basis, you can quickly raise your hand, and then sir can focus his attention to you, and then we will be happy. We'll try and address your query. So while we take time to do that, I'll just quickly do a recap of what we had learned for today. Today we had learned sum. We learned how to carry out sum in the case of summation in the case of regular, irregular, symmetrical, and then symmetrical multiple series. Then we learned the functionality of SUMIF. We saw that SUMIF we can apply in the case of when we have a certain condition or a certain criteria which is specified. Then we also learned how to apply SUMIF with complex criterias, like we want summation to be carried out for a specific item, specific series. We want maybe certain alphabetical criteria to be fulfilled. We learned that. We learned the functionality of average. We learned how to apply average in the case of irregular, symmetrical, and multiple. Then we learned minimum, maximum, small, and large.
Hello, sir.
Yes, ma'am, I think
sir, I'm Vijayalakshmi. Sir, in the case of sum if true, you have explained to select a word which is ending with some letter, right, sir? You asked to put some asterisk symbol. Suppose if I want to select any letter which is in the middle or in the beginning, is there any way there to select like that, sir?
Yes, ma'am. So as a part of the session on Friday, I will be covering how you can go about playing around with these kind of scenarios. So I shall address that in one shot, where we will be picking up multiple scenarios. So starting with, then if it has a criteria in the middle, so I shall be addressing that as a part of it. Those will be called as nested formulas. So I will be covering that as a part of the session for day 4. So I may not be spending time right now, but since it's already a part of this upcoming session, we shall be covering it together on day 4. If there's anyone else who has a question or a query, you can quickly raise your hand, and the system admin shall unmute you. I think Dr. Parijita Singh has got a question. I think, so if you can unmute ma'am, it would be nice.
Thank you, sir. Actually, sir, my question was regarding conditional formatting only. But yes, whenever we use that, we tend to highlight one particular cell. My question is whether we can highlight the whole, the whole row altogether, not just one cell.
Ma'am, actually, in the higher versions of Excel, we have that functionality. Now, that again depends on the version of Excel that you're using. If I'm not mistaken, Office 2016 and above, this functionality is there. So in Office 2016 and above, if you run conditional, if you open up the format of conditional formatting, it runs you actually through a wizard. So as a part of that wizard, you can define what is the action you want Excel to take. So in that, yes, you can specify this condition. You want one entire column, or you want one entire row to be highlighted. But like I said, on the lower versions of Excel, that functionality is not supported. On the lower versions of Excel, the functionality is defined in such a way that it will only highlight a specific cell.
Will you be covering that in the 4th day, sir?
Ma'am, like I said, one challenge that I've noticed since I was taking the session yesterday was that majority of the users actually this morning I've reworked my entire data sets. So keeping in mind that we have to have an inclusive approach. So I will be covering conditional formatting as a part of this on day 4. And if time permits, definitely I will cover it.
Perfect, perfect. Thank you so much, sir.
So if you would actually notice, as a part of today's session, I meant to cover average ifs. There's another functionality which is called as average ifs. Again, as a part of sum, we have called as sum if, and then we have called sum ifs, where you can specify multiple criterias. Now here I'm just specifying one criteria. My criteria is either it has to be onion or it has to be apple. But what if I want it to be vegetable and apple? So that is referred to as multiple criteria. Now that functionality works up only with
ends.
Which will only work with some ifs. But the reason I dropped that out from my coverage today is because and if I were to cover, and if everyone is not in sync, then it will be an injustice that I would be doing to them. So that's the reason why I actually dropped out a lot of concepts from this. I'm just trying to understand to make sure that the sessions are inclusive for everyone. So when I cover, yes, I will try. If time permits, definitely I will try and cover.
Thank you so much, sir.
You're welcome, ma'am. And in the meanwhile, there was a question. We look up. I think that should be concatenate. Will I be covering t-test correlations? Actually, as a part of our department offerings, we have something called as advanced data analysis. That would t-test. Actually, most of the statistical testings that we do, maybe in high-end softwares like eViews, SPSS, those functionalities we can actually do. We can actually carry out as a part of Excel also. Your ANOVA test, chi-square test, and actually, if you are seasoned in Excel, you will never go back to softwares like SPSS, because SPSS or eViews, because in terms of handling data, as for example, if you were to do a testing, statistical testing in SPSS software, first we have to code. We have to define the kind of variable, then we have to define the codes, then we have to import the data, then we have to run the test, then we get the output, then the output. The biggest challenge that we have with SPSS is we will be writing our analysis interpretations in Microsoft Word. The format, the output that we'll be getting is in one format. We will have a hard time copying it from there and putting it into Word, and then we have to spend a lot of time trying to change the format, trying to change the fonts, etc. But the same functionalities with much ease we can do in Excel. And Excel, the outputs are readily available. You just have to do Control-C, Control-V into Word, and then we will be able to cover it. So my initial plan was that I meant to cover some of the, maybe not all the statistical tools. I meant to cover some of the statistical tools, but if time permits, definitely as a part of day 4, I will try and cover statistical functions also. Okay, I will try to cover statistical functions also. Okay, so I think I've already got an update from the system admin. They will be closing up the meeting very shortly, and they have given me permission to address one more question. And the question that someone asked me was, please share the presentation. Yes, definitely. The presentations we are sharing on a daily basis. The sessions, yesterday's sessions, presentations we've already shared. And for the benefit of everyone, these meetings have been recorded. We are in the process of editing, and once the editing is over, it shall be uploaded onto YouTube. And once it is uploaded onto YouTube, we shall be sharing the links also onto the group chat. So at a later point of time, if you would like to refer back, you can definitely do so.
And Subbu sir, and I think Vinod Kumar sir also have one clarification is required.
Okay, sure. I think that will be the last question for this afternoon. So I think we can quickly try and unmute Vinod Kumar sir, and with that we will be winding up.
So my question is, can we import the Excel sheet into the MS Word or to some other software?
So we may not be able to. A function called as export or import may not be readily available, but what you can actually do is you can copy your data. So I'll just quickly show an example. So here I have this particular sheet, and I'll copy this value from Excel, and let me open up Word. And let me start a new share, and the share. So I hope my Word is visible to you, and then I just have to do Control V. Okay. So it gets pasted over here. Now the latest versions of Word, what we had covered as a part of yesterday's Space Special, you will get that functionality here also. So here there are multiple in Word also. We have something similar to Paste Special. You can right click and you can explore these paste options. Okay. Now this is not available in the earlier versions of Word. This is available only on the latest versions of Word, which is 2016 and above. Now if I select the first option, it says keep source formatting. So what happens is whatever formatting I had done in Excel, it will keep the formatting here also. So let's say I don't want that formatting. I want an altogether new formatting. Then I have to select the second option, which says use destination style. So if I select this, whatever font was already there in Word, the table will get converted into that format.
So is it an editable form, or we cannot edit in Word?
This is an editable form. So okay. Here, let's say, if I say like this, so I can actually change the values. So I'm changing the values here. And also there's one more functionality as a part of this. Okay, so you want only the values. Okay? You can say keep text only, and you say it gives you the only the values. So I can probably go over creating a new table over here.
Okay,
so it has only brought in the value. It has not brought the table. It has only brought in the values here. So this functionality is available in the higher versions of Word. If I'm not mistaken, it's 2016 and above. So this is very similar to the paste special function that we covered yesterday.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
you very much, sir.
You're welcome, sir. So with that note, we are winding up for today. Thank you all for spending your valuable time with us. I hope today's session had been useful for all of you. Tomorrow again, we shall catch up. We will continue with the same data sets, and like I reminded, we will be sharing the presentations, the handouts for today's sessions again tomorrow, and the meeting links for tomorrow's meeting we shall be sharing in the WhatsApp group latest by 2:20. So I request all of you to check your WhatsApp group by then. You shall be receiving the credentials for joining the Zoom meeting. So thank you all. Wish you all a wonderful evening. If there is anyone who has any more queries, please feel to write to me. I will be more than happy to answer your queries over email. Okay. Thank you all. Wishing you all a wonderful evening. Goodbye.